I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron James has to be considered better than Magic Johnson. That's garbage. I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Bill Russell. That's garbage. I'm not going to say LeBron James.
All right, welcome back to the show, everyone. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So, how do I preface this? First of all, this title of the video is Michael Wilbon destroys LeBron James GOAT ranking. There's more to it than this. This is from the basketball show, a channel that I've watched some on my own for just while like doing stuff around the house. Great channel. I love his perspectives on things going on in the game. But I watched this myself. Not this video, but I watched Wilbon, and Wilbon said it straight, because this is in retaliation to this whole, Jordan's former agent said that LeBron might be top 10, and that if Jordan were to do what LeBron did, which is like, what'd he say? Cherry pick his teammates and cherry pick his teams, then he would have had like 15 championships. So this like blew up, and now it caused Rich Paul to retaliate, which I already covered. So now we're in the next phase. Now the people are responding to the retaliation from Rich Paul. So what Wilbon said is basically like, you guys want to take this as though it's like an insult that we're having him top 2, top 5, top 10, whatever. Like, you guys don't get to dictate where we rank this guy. You don't have that power, and they've been approaching this like it's some kind of mafia. Stephen A actually talked about it because he was on the panel as well, and Perkins was on the panel, and they all kind of expressed it. Perkins said LeBron is his GOAT, but Perkins also expressed that he doesn't like the methods that they use for their propaganda. They literally do it in a threatening manner, And Stephen A had came out and said, yeah, he doesn't. He basically came out and said all this negativity, all this fighting is coming straight from the LeBron camp. Like Stephen A. Smith said this on ESPN on First Take, and he straight up said, no, all this fighting is coming from them. They keep talking trash, and then we respond, defending Jordan, and then they act like the victims as though we're picking on them. We never started this fight, and as silly as it is, defending LeBron, saying he's the greatest of all time, that one right there made me the greatest of all time, and he calls himself GOAT all the time. It's part of the damn problem. So anyways, this video is going to be covering what Michael Wilbon said. I'll talk about it afterwards, because I think what he said represents what a lot of us are feeling. So let's get into this. Like the video if you haven't done it yet. I'd appreciate it. Also, really, really, really quick, you guys, I wanted to welcome a new member, Joseph4043. I appreciate your support. Let's do this, you guys.
The media wants you to believe it's a two-man race, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. But what if it's just lazy thinking? What if the real basketball minds, the ones who've been around the game for decades, don't even put LeBron second?
I know.
That's exactly what Michael Wilbon just said. And he didn't hold back. Oh, no, he didn't hold back.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
On a recent episode of Get Up, Wilbon responded to the firestorm created by David Falk, which I made a video about. Michael Jordan's longtime agent, who said Jordan would have won 15 championships if he teamed up with superstars like LeBron did. But Wilbon took it a step further. He said something even more bold. LeBron James isn't automatically the second greatest player of all time. That spot, it's not guaranteed. And he explained why. But first, welcome. My name is Paul, and this is The Basketball Show, where I talk today's NBA, current events, news, players, debates, history, all completely unbiased, even though some people disagree because my opposing opinion to weak people is always hating.
I know, right?
Truth is truth.
Yeah.
And
having an opinion is not hate, okay? Me not agreeing with you is not hate, just like you not agreeing with me is not hate. Now, if you say, like I disagree with you, you're a stupid POS, now that's hate. But if you say, yeah, man, I don't agree with you, Jordan's not the GOAT, I think so-and-so is the GOAT. That's not hate. I don't take that as hate. I take that as a disagreement. How soft do you have to be where you think a disagreement is hate? What's happened?
Try to stand by that. Check out Wilbon's clip.
This is who David Falk is. He's a provocateur on his best day. Okay, he's Michael Jordan's longtime agent. He is that. I'm a neighbor of David Falk.
By the way, I thought it would be important to point out David Falk is not Jordan's agent. He's not working for Jordan anymore. They're just like longtime friends at this point. So it's not like this was coming from Jordan. This was coming from a guy who knows Jordan very well, is all it is. Now, when it's coming out of the LeBron camp, that's coming straight from that's coming from Rich Paul, who is actually employed as LeBron James's agent.
Okay, he's Michael Jordan's longtime agent. He is that. I'm a neighbor of David Falk and have known him for 45 years. Okay? I've had millions of basketball-related conversations with David Falk. No one should be surprised that David Falk is going out there with the MJ flag. Because if you think that, stop. Just get out of the sports talking about business and go to something else. Now, I hate the conversation because it requires you to say something negative about someone who's truly great and all-time great to make your point. And that's the most tiresome thing about the GOAT conversation. But let me just say this.
He's got a point.
I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron James has to be considered better than Magic Johnson. That's garbage. I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Bill Russell. That's garbage.
Keep going.
I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Kobe Bryant. That's garbage. LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time in all team sports. I'm sorry, if that's not good enough, turn the page. Get over yourself. So in other words, I'm going to proclaim and support and wave the LeBron James flag for his greatness. But if I say he's less than number 2, that's not good enough for you, to hell with you. And I'm not saying that in support of David Falk. I'm saying that as somebody who has watched basketball and lived with basketball my whole life. I got to say that LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant? What? Put me in a grave first.
There it is. There it is. There it is. And then he repeated it again on First Take the next day. Or maybe the same day, but either way, this wasn't a slip up. He repeated himself. All right. And that's the show that I was talking about, where it was First Take and everyone else was chiming in and actually supporting Wilbon in this, because the most important thing that he's saying, if having him as one of the greatest of all time is not good enough for you, to hell with you. That's garbage. To hell with that. I'd rather be put in the grave before I have to repeat the BS that you're trying to force me to speak. What happened to freedom of speech here? What happened? This used to be America, where we were allowed to free speak or speak freely about our opinions, share our opinions. Now, LeBron, this is basketball of all things. The LeBron James camp is so insecure that they have to control the ranking in which LeBron is allowed to be put in, or else what? What? You're going to come after me? You're going to come after my channel? You're going to come after the basketball show? You're going to come after Wilbon? You've already done that. You're going to go after Stephen A? You've already done that. You've went after Perk and tried to bully him. God knows who else you guys have done it to. There's a bunch of YouTube channels that I wonder too. I see what they used to be, and then I see what they became after they got more popular. And I have to question myself, did they get to you? Are they cutting you a check? Something happened. Because a lot of channels used to speak out against this stuff, and then all of a sudden they're like totally pro LeBron. LeBron's the GOAT, blah, blah, blah. Same old crap you've heard. But yeah, no, I stand with Wilbon, because I'm a very small platform. He's got a huge platform, but we're aligned on this one. I'll be damned. You better put me in a grave before some freaking propaganda machine like Clutch Sports gets to tell me what my opinions are and what my opinions are not allowed to be. You can go fuck yourself.
Here's what Wilbon is really pushing back against. This modern obsession with rankings that force-feed LeBron into a permanent number 2 spot behind Jordan and ahead of everyone else without question. That's not how real basketball minds operate.
Yeah, and that's how most of my friends are too, by the way. When I say, when I say, nah, man, Jordan's the GOAT, and they go, okay, well, you got to have LeBron at 2, right? It's programmed into their brains that he has to be 1 or 2. And I'm like, no, he's not. He's not. And then I start listing people. I'm like, Kobe, Magic, Bird, Bill Russell, Kareem, Wilt, Duncan. There's people I'm not thinking of right now because I'm a little hot. But I don't automatically have to put anywhere where you tell me to. Just like if somebody doesn't have Bird on their top 10, I don't get to tell them where they have to put Bird. Oh, that's disrespectful to Bird. You have to put him in your top 10. If he's not in your top 10, fine, that's your opinion, man. But I get to have my opinion. That's how this is supposed to go. We're supposed to respect each other's differences.
Says, and I quote, I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron James has to be considered better than Magic Johnson. That's garbage.
That's garbage.
I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Ben Russell. That's garbage. I'm not going to say LeBron James has to be considered better than Kobe Bryant. That's also garbage. In other words, stop acting like there's only one correct answer. Just for information, none of the guys just mentioned were ever accused of quitting in an NBA Finals by their own teammates. LeBron has. We're not talking about some fan with a podcast mic and a hot take. Oh shit, that's me in LeBron fans' eyes.
Yeah.
We're talking about Michael Wilbon, a guy who's been covering the NBA for 40 plus years. He's been courtside, he's talked to players, he talked to legends, he's lived it.
Yep.
He's not saying LeBron isn't great.
No.
He's saying
not.
There are other guys, Magic, Russell, Kobe, who absolutely deserve to be in that conversation. And to automatically bump them down just to keep the MJ versus LeBron debate alive? Dishonest.
Yeah. Let's run a test in the comments here right now, because this is actually the truth, okay, for me. What if I tell you LeBron's not in my top 5? Let that sink in real quick. And then if I tell you I'm not sure if he's in my top 10, because that 6 to 10 spot, there's so much competition to get in there. And I have criterias of greatness. And LeBron does not check a lot of these boxes, okay? The super team building, the cheating the game, the making the game worse by incorporating all the flopping and, the getting your coaches fired, all this blame shifting, all the lack of accountability. A lot of this stuff it eliminates you from my top 5 and my top 10. It's so crowded with players that didn't do this stuff and accomplished more than LeBron that I have to say, I think you guys get the spot. So you tell me in the comments, does that trigger you? I just told the truth. I have certain criterias to get in, okay? It's my list, my opinion. Does that trigger you? Let me know in the comments and go ahead. Just lay it out. I don't delete comments. So you want to call me a piece of shit who doesn't know anything about basketball because LeBron might not be on my top 10? Do it. I want to hear it. This is a test.
Because you've actually watched these guys. If you saw Magic run the Showtime Lakers, if you saw Bill Russell dominate an era and win 11 titles,
yeah.
If you saw Kobe Bryant become the post-Jordan standard,
yep.
Then you understand what Wilbon is saying.
Yeah.
This matters because it exposes how much of the GOAT conversation today is built on narrative, not facts.
Yeah. The facts are Kobe accomplished more in less time, 5 rings. LeBron's got 4. Magic did the same thing, more success, way less time, 5 rings. We got Tim Duncan, who also did the same. Obviously, Jordan. You know what I mean? So no, LeBron doesn't get that number 2 spot automatically. Let's stop pretending. Can we just for 1 second stop pretending that LeBron's actually competing with Jordan for the top spot? He's not. He's competing against Tim Duncan, Steph Curry, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell. He's competing against these guys for that top 5 spot. That's what's really going on. But all this deception has been going around. All these lies that we've gotten so comfortable with have fucked our heads up to where we think he's entitled to something. No, man. That's not how sports rankings have ever gone. No one's entitled to anything. You display your greatness, we will rank you. That's what us fans are supposed to do. They don't get to tell us where they fall on our rankings. We get to say where they fall in our rankings. This is all ass backwards now.
Because treat it like LeBron went from high school to number 2 all time and everyone else just got erased from history.
Yeah.
That's what they try to push on us. And let's be real, that's mostly driven by the NBA pushing the narrative to media partners, highlight reels, and fans who don't grow up watching anyone before 2010.
Yeah.
NBA needed a golden goose after Mike. They made sure to capitalize on LeBron.
Yeah.
But they needed the media's help, and they got it.
Yeah, let's be real. The NBA picked the wrong goose twice. The first one, they should have stuck with Kobe. And then later on in Kobe's career, it should have been Steph that they were focused on. But they picked LeBron over Kobe. They abandoned Kobe. That was their first mistake. And then when Steph came in like a freaking tornado into the NBA, it should have been him. He should have been the face of the league. But instead, they doubled down on LeBron. They screwed up twice. And now they just can't admit that they screwed up. I mean, the rankings, the ratings are down. The NBA is not looking great right now. But they don't want to admit why it happened. Once again, lack of accountability from the top. If they can just say, yeah, we screwed up, our bad, we're going to do better in the future, that's fine. But pretending like it didn't happen, and then also trying to convince us and manipulate us that they were right all along, that's sick.
But Wilbon, he's not having it. He flat out said, put me in a grave first before I say LeBron is better than Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
You might disagree, but the man has earned his viewpoint, and he's not alone.
He has integrity.
LeBron James is one of the greatest to ever do it. No one's denying that. But that doesn't mean you get to erase legacies.
Yes.
Magic Johnson revolutionized the game. Kobe Bryant was the closest thing we've ever seen to Jordan in skill set, mentality, and killer instinct. Bill Russell was the ultimate winner, period.
Yeah. Yep.
So when people like Wilbon or David Falk remind us of that, it's not hating. It's knowledge and perspective.
It is.
Falk might be Jordan's agent, but he's also a sharp basketball mind who's been around legends. And
that's why, by the way, I find it important to point out he is not he is not Michael Jordan's agent. He was. He's not currently.
He's not carrying water for anyone. He said himself, I'm not saying that in support of David Falk.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying that as someone who's lived with basketball my whole life.
He's saying that as somebody who covers basketball, like you said, who has integrity. And he doesn't want to sacrifice his integrity to join this circus. He has his opinions, and that's what's gotten him paid his whole life. His whole career, is having his opinions, standing by them, and being unique. Being just another robot in the echo chamber of stuff that's being told to us from the top, that doesn't make you unique at all. I don't understand why people are so easy to embrace the common narratives.
Now let's be honest, LeBron has had a long, great career. He's racked up counting stats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's had big playoff performances.
Yeah, he's guaranteed in my top 15. Guaranteed in my top 15 right now. Like, I just don't know where to place him. I've had him at 11 or 12 for a long time now.
He's been in the spotlight longer than anyone. He's stayed healthy. But when you peel back the numbers and you get 6 finals losses, team hopping, carefully crafted rosters, accused of quitting during NBA finals by his own teammates.
Yeah.
It's not the same as what Jordan, Kobe, Magic, or Russell did.
Yeah.
Those guys built dynasties. They didn't chase them. They didn't need 20 years and 3 franchises to make their legacies. And maybe, just maybe, that's what Wilbon's pushing back against. The idea that the longer you play, the more greatness is automatic. That's BS.
Yeah, it is.
Now let's talk about this part. This is what he said. I've got to say that LeBron James is better than Kobe Bryant? What? Put me in a grave first.
That's my favorite part.
That hit hard.
Yeah, it did.
I didn't expect it.
I know.
because Kobe doesn't get enough credit in these GOAT conversations. People forget just how respected Kobe was, especially by other players.
And more than that, it just shows I've always liked Wilbon, by the way. I've always liked Wilbon, like I used to like Stuart Scott a lot. What Wilbon is proving here is if I have to lose my integrity, I'd rather die first. I'd rather die than lose my integrity. And I respect him as much as I ever have now for coming out and saying something like this.
He didn't make friends. He made killers. He didn't team hop.
Nope.
He battled it out. And yes, he won 5 championships.
Yes, he did.
He inspired a generation just like Mike.
What did he do? He went 5 for 7. That's pretty good average right there. Went 5 for 7. I think Magic went 5 for 9, right?
He mastered footwork, mid-range, and mentality like nobody else.
And I'm sorry, you want to tell me that I have to put somebody who went 4 for 10 over both of those guys? No, you don't get to tell me to do that. I have a brain. I see things, you know? Like, I don't care what you say. Somebody accomplished more in less time and did it at a higher efficiency as far as we win more than we lose. I'm not going to go for the guy who's got a 40% average in the finals. I'm not going to do it, especially when the majority of your losses, you choked.
Wilbon is saying what a lot of old school hoop heads feel. You can't talk GOATs without putting Kobe in that conversation. Even Shaq says that. This video isn't about tearing down LeBron. It's about telling the truth, as all my videos are. They're all supported by facts, which I'm showing you.
Yeah, the thing is, this isn't even against LeBron James, the basketball player. This is against his media camp. You know, the media company that's pushing out the narratives. That's what it is. It's like back in the 90s where we had it in our head, fight against big corporate. You know, the big corporate monsters out there. We were anti this. Now we're not anymore. The next generation definitely didn't grab that baton. Now we have like Apple and Tesla like worshipers. You know what I mean? So it's completely different now. But that's what this feels like. No, you don't get to take away my freedom of speech. No, hell no.
The GOAT debate isn't just MJ versus LeBron. It's about context. And when legends like Michael Wilbon speak up, we should listen.
Absolutely.
Because if you really know the game and you've seen greatness evolve over decades, you understand that Magic, Kobe, Russell deserve their respect. And if someone puts LeBron lower than second all time, that's not hate. That's basketball wisdom.
Yeah, I know quite a few of you who have Bird as your GOAT. I know a lot of you who have Wilt, Kareem. Some of you have Kobe as your GOAT. Some say Magic. So what's the big deal here? We all have our opinions. The only time it's a big deal is, oh, well, that means you don't have LeBron here. Why is this a big deal, dude? I don't even follow up the question. And I've seen it a ton of times in comments where somebody says, I got Larry Bird as the GOAT. I'll be like, dude, right on, man. Bird deserves more credit and attention. I don't ask, well, what does that mean for Jordan? Why would I be insecure about this? It's just my opinion. It's my stance. You know, I don't need to be insecure about it and be like, oh no, if, you know, some guy who watched a video and commented doesn't agree with who I have as the greatest of all time, like I lost my credibility. Like, no, dude, what kind of insecure crap is that, dude? Support each other's opinions. As long as we're not attacking each other, everything's fine.
As my intro says, a different, more informed opinion, supported by facts that someone doesn't agree with, is hating to them. That's weak thinking, period. What do you think? Is LeBron automatically number 2 all time?
Hell no.
I don't think so. Or is Wilbon right? And others like Magic, Kobe, and Russell still belong in the conversation? Maybe other players? You got Bird, others. Let me know in the comments. Consider becoming a member to support the channel. Hit that like button, subscribe if you respect real basketball talk. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.
Nice. Well done. Well done. Guys, the link to the original video for the basketball show is going to be in the description of this video, as I always do. I don't think I said that on the intro. And yeah, I agree with everything he says. I agree with everything Wilbon says here, because the stance is not to bash the player. It is to basically fight back and say, you don't get to tell me what my opinion is. I own my opinion. That's mine. I get to keep that, you know? And, you know, fighting for freedom of speech is something I'm always going to be a part of. So if somebody ever tries to control what I am and what I am not allowed to say, when I know I'm not being harmful, I'm not hurting anybody with my words, I'm not inciting any violence, I'm not doing a call of action or anything that can be considered a harmful thing. My opinions will always be my opinions, which is why, like, I would never like join like a major network or something like that to talk hoops. No, you know, if I join Disney, ESPN, they control my opinions. So there's something sinister that comes with it. Like, you better believe, like, Wilbon probably got a talking to a little bit, but at this point, Wilbon does not care. He's been doing this his whole life, so he's, you know, like you said, put me in a grave first, if that's the case. But he's gonna go out with his integrity intact. So yeah, I'll always fight for this, fight for the right to have your own opinions. Like I said, as long as you're not hurting people with it and you're not attacking people, then yeah, we should have a difference of opinions. And I'm old enough to remember that this used to be celebrated. Okay, we were all different. We could all contribute different things, and we all embraced it. We embraced each other with this. You know, okay, well, you're better at this than I am. He's better at this than both of us. Okay, we know our place. You know, let's get it done. Nowadays, if we're not all like-minded and we all don't have this hive mind opinion, people just start attacking other people because, well, let's just be real. Society has gotten so soft that we see disagreements as hate. We actually labeled it with that word, hate. A disagreement being hate. That's sad, you guys. So I know in my own world, if someone disagrees with me, I refuse to call it hate, because that's jumping on this bandwagon, and it's perpetuating this problem of people getting softer and softer. And yeah, if we end up being so hive mind as a society that we all just agree with what mainstream media force feeds us all the time, what's the point of us being humans? At that point, we might as well just be robots and just be programmed, because all the things that make us unique individuals is now stripped away from us. So everyone, that's my spiel. If I can say anything, it's just be careful. Be careful what you're being force-fed, and resist it. Always resist and question. Always ask questions. This is how we learn. Don't just echo. Don't get into an echo chamber. My philosophy is if 90% of the population is leaning one way and not even considering the other way, I start asking really big questions. You know, like, what's really going on here? Something's going on, and I think I don't think I should join the hive mind so quickly at that point. I should probably ask some questions first. Anyways, guys, I'm out of here. Sorry for how heated I got on this one. This one just hits it hits a spot for me that I'm very passionate about, and honestly, it's been a big part of why I make these videos speaking out against the LeBron camp, because it stands for something bigger than basketball. It's way bigger than basketball. I can't support a camp that is trying to program other people and force them into beliefs that they are not comfortable with. I'll never be a part of that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I am out of here for now. Like the vid if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. And yeah, if you want to check out the basketball show, go right over there and check it out. It's good content. I see he's dropping videos, I believe, daily at this point. So cool stuff, man. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful, well, what am I saying? I'll see you in the after dark. All right. I'll see you in the comments too. All right. Peace out, everybody, and be water, my friends. Water can't be manipulated. Mm-mm.